You're taking a boat that has no modern components, no electrical modern components.
That's right.
And you're going to sail it from France, south, all the way around Antarctica and back to France?
That's a hope, yep. That's what I'm aiming for.
It's going to take about 9 months.
I would think about that. I am one of the 19 competitors that are entered into the Golden Globe race 2018. It starts July 1st. It is a solo nonstop sailboat race around the world. This is the 50th anniversary of the original. And the original, I think, captivated many imaginations all around the world. 9 started, 1 finished. 1 died, killed himself. 1 sank 1,000 miles before the finish line. Several others quit. Englishman, he did it, they knighted him. The Frenchman was always, motivational for me, Bernard Montessier. He went around and he was right there at the South Atlantic, ready to go back up and collect first place, and he decided the fanfare was not for him, and he sent a slingshotted message to a freighter nearby, and it's read, tell them I have to stay at sea, perhaps to save my soul. And he sailed around the Southern Ocean another half a revolution to get back to Tahiti, and he stayed there for 10 years. Some would say he had an epiphany at sea. You could almost say he lost his mind at sea, but his books are beautiful, so whatever happened to him, I'm glad it did. I soaked them up, and then many years went by of just pond sailing, and then I saw in a magazine that they were running the 50th anniversary of this race to retro rules on kind of porky old family cruisers that are not terribly fast but seaworthy. 36-foot old English design.
That doesn't seem very big for open
It isn't,
waters.
yet it's the biggest one allowed in the race. Race organizers have been very adamant in keeping the rules as pure to the old race as possible. All right, that is the same angle that it was over here. So you walk it over, and these would be your dividers, and you would measure distance off of the latitude side of the chart. It's called the Old Clipper Route, and it was the windjammer ships of yesteryear would use this route, and they would come down the same route from England or France. They would round the Cape Good Hope here. They would stay just north of Prince Edward Island, Le Crozettes, and the Kerguelen Islands. You go essentially make a lap around Antarctica. The Southern Ocean has the reputation to be the horrible one. Cold all the time. It's a big sea, so it's going to be wet. You're going to be needing your heat. There is another mail drop in Tasmania and Hobart. They're making gates, so you sail near these islands, and they'll come out and meet you and take any mail you might have, and film, of course, so that they can probably help the people at home follow along. Within a mile or two of the island, I think they'll come out to meet you because they have GPS on your boat.
Gosh, so the whole point of the trip is nonstop.
Right, nonstop without reprovisioning or getting outside help.
So you have 9 months worth of food, and
these are beans. That's beef, and it's dry and hard and as could be. It's gravel, but it's lightweight too. And then you cut across the last cape, which is I think near Stewart Island, and then you make it all the way around till you get to the last cape. The fabled graveyard of sailors, Cape Horn, where the land narrows. This is the closest bit of land you have coming together. So the Drake Passage is a pretty vicious and unpredictable patch of water.
Because of the land that juts out?
Right, and it's like a funnel for the wind and the sea. And when you return, it'll probably be wintertime in the North Atlantic too, so you can get your teeth kicked in again. After you've sunned yourself passing through the equator.
For the home stretch.
Right, the home stretch, yeah.
Which is a month long or 2 months.
About that. I'd probably say a month of one more month of freezing and getting roughed up.
How long will this take?
I think maybe 9 months. I would hope for a faster time, but I'll say 7 to 10 months. the race will be on when the bell rings on July 1st. Everyone, each man and woman for themselves.
Are there women?
There is one. Susie Goodall is the English woman, charter captain, sails people from like adventure sailing, going from northern England to Iceland, so treacherous waters, and that's her home water. Indian Navy sent a commander from their Navy. The Frenchman, one of them is 74 years old and has gone around the world 5 times.
So he has an advantage over you in that he's done this before?
Many of them have many advantages over me. There's only a couple of us that are what you call the...
First-timers?
Yeah, first-timer adventure.
What drives you to do this when you could...
Oh, I could stay at my sweet job, I could make money and buy a new car and live comfortably as I have been here. Few things motivated me more than anything. I called a friend in the Gaza Strip. He is the Palestinian Sail and Surf Federation Commissioner. And this was a few years ago, and I asked him about the Olympics. Why aren't you fielding any Palestinian Olympic sailors? I thought that would be a neat thing. And he said, he laughed at me. He said, they don't give us visas to leave here. And hearing this, that not only are you keeping somebody who I identify with. I did live there for 2.5 years, and I suffered with them, not knowing the political situation there. Living under a brutal occupation like that as a third-class citizen was a real eye-opener for a kid coming out of Chaska at age 12. I was arrested. I received my daily beating for a few days in a little makeshift prison outside of Jerusalem called Shamir Amis. I was put in a little hot box while I was asked questions, and if I didn't want to cooperate, they'd give you a little nudge, and I'd burn my elbows on the black corrugated box. Eventually, my best friend and first cousin, he was killed, and at that point, that was when my parents said, maybe we need to go back. I think this experiment is over for now. But I never forgot. I can give them something to cheer for that they haven't had in years. And as they're being erased, I really want to give them something. They were great to me, and they didn't have to be, and they treated me well, the Palestinians.
So you put together your love of your people and the disgust over their plight with your interest in adventurism and sailing.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and what is sailing? I mean, it's the ultimate representation of freedom, of open border, of self-determination, and the ability to stand on your own 2 feet and your own thinking. It's beautiful in all of those respects. You can say I like mountain scenes and snow-capped peaks, or beautiful boundary water scenes and canoeing. But I think the seascape is an unsung hero of the same caliber, of any national park I've been to. It changes, its mood can be fantastically brutal, and usually when it is, it's beautiful. So beautiful that you're not even scared at that time, when you probably should be at that time. But you're taking in, the majesty and the power of the scene around you. They call it blue water sailing. The water, when you get past these little shallow lines, becomes the deepest blue, royal blue, almost electric blue you've ever seen. And it's something you'll never see from land or the beach. Maybe you hear the you look around, that happened 3 times, you think you're losing your mind, and then one day you hear it and you look and you see the big tail, you're like, oh, it was whales all those times, I thought I was losing my mind.
How can people follow you? How can people learn more about this? How can they...
I would go to the Team Palestine Facebook page, or you could go to the GoldenGlobeRace.com, the race webpage. They are going to have tracking devices on the boats so that it'll be easier to follow. I think you should even be able to overlay weather on their site, so that would be neat.
So because of the GPS, I'll be able to see like some dot on the map where you are.
Mm-hmm.
That you won't be able to use.
That I won't be able to use, right. And I'm sure more than once will I have been begging for that information.
Are you bringing a razor?
There is something to be said for a nice shower and shave aboard, freshens up your outlook, but I was kind of hoping to let the hair and face just see what happens after 9 months. I think that would be fun and something I haven't been able to do in the last 25 years if I wanted to or not.
Not to be confused with the Golden Globes.
Right, not to be confused with Hollywood.
Yeah, this is very not Hollywood.
Very much.
Although they'll make a movie about you when you're done.
I don't know about me, but maybe about the whole event, sure.
No, you. You'll win the race, and then you'll take the boat and go through the Mediterranean and land into Israel and say hello to all the people.
Brandon,
in the Gaza
I
Strip.
love your optimism. That's the kind of attitude we should have aboard. That is the kind.
Are you asking me to join you?
I think we could make a sailor out of you yet.
Well, I can't join you, right? This is solo only, right?
This is true, but you should come out to Lake Calhoun and we'll go for a tutor on the lake. Maybe I'll
Next summer?
Maybe this May I'll send you with somebody else that's staying here,
Okay.
and then next summer I'd gladly go out with you.
So it'll be July to what, April?
I'm thinking something like that. Yeah.
So April we can meet you in France.
I would love it if you were there. That would be fantastic. I would love to, whoop it in with you. Sure. That would be great.
We'll see you there.
Excellent.
You do you.
You do you. Yeah, that's a great line, huh?